Coming up this week on the Nerd Rundown podcast, we want to thank all you nerds out there. As this past week we hit 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers.
Golf clap.
Yeah, golf clap. No, we're 1/10 of the way of where we want to be. No, 1/millionth of the way where we want to be. Yeah. That's where we want to be. 1/millionth of the where we want to be. So thank you, everybody, for helping this show grow. Obviously, wouldn't be anywhere without you guys. So thank you. And this week, watch for Morgan being amped for the Resident Evil Netflix series. He's forever going to be pumped for anything Resident Evil and always will be let down, maybe? I don't know.
Probably.
Eric's apathy for Avatar continues as we got a new trailer for that movie sequel. And Darren is super jacked for Jack Ryan. So we didn't get anything other than an announcement, but I can't wait for more Jack Ryan. So, Eric, play that song. Hey nerds, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Rundown podcast, where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I'm your host, Darren Stimple. Please welcome my co-pilots, Eric Hare.
Hello, everybody.
And Morgan Santo.
Remember, never pay full price for late pizza.
Pizza time. You can find us on our social media like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, all at the Nerd Rundown. While you're there, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, leave a comment, make that subscribe button go from red to gray. And then you can also listen to us on all the major podcast services. So, fun rundown today, starting off with, we finally get our first look at it, boys. We got our first look at it actually in the theater, which it looked phenomenal in the theater, and I just knew it would look phenomenal. But the Avatar 2, The Way of Water trailer was released online, so we can put our eyeballs on it whenever we wanted to. And, it met my visual expectations. I mean, it looked incredible. I remember in the theater sitting there with Dad, we just looked at each other and like, that looks pretty incredible. But I don't know if that's, enough for me to like get excited about it. So Eric, what did you think of it on the big screen? And I'm sure you've watched it, since you've been home. What did you think of the Avatar 2, The Way of Water trailer?
Yeah, I watched both. I watched it first on the small screen here at the house on the internet, and then I finally got to see it Thursday night in the theater on the big screen. And I wouldn't say that it made much of a difference for me. The trailer looked good. Like you said, visually, it looks just amazing. It's a cool world. It's a cool... visually, it's a cool thing to see, but it's a cartoon. I get that it's like somewhat live capture stuff, but it's really an animated... It's all computer animated stuff, and so I don't know. I'm not a huge animation fan, and I think that's with the 3D stuff. Maybe it'll change it a little bit different if we start watching with 3D glasses. We'll kind of see how that is, but I don't know. We'll see. And so far we've got nothing for story other than the family is a fortress, which sounds strangely Fast and the Furious like. I don't know, I didn't see Dom in there, but maybe he's in there somewhere. Maybe he's one of the blue guys, and I don't. Yeah, family is everything. So, I don't know.
Well, the first one was a ripoff of Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, or Ferngully. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening there, but So my hype is nothing. I don't have any hype for this movie. I didn't really. I liked the first one. I have no idea why it was so successful. Like I watched it one time. I never went and saw it again, and so I don't understand how it was so successful. But it was, not that I don't like James Cameron.
Absolutely,
I'm a huge James Cameron fanboy. So
yeah, I mean, I remember when Avatar came out, like people were hyping it up as something that was going to blow our minds. And it did, because it was our first immersive 3D experience where it's like you're sitting in the theater and like a freaking Avatar dude's running past you, and it's just like, that's pretty cool. It wasn't like a shooting lasers at your eyes kind of 3D. and that was an expensive ticket. Like it boosted the ticket sales like crazy. And it was an experience. Like it was nothing to do with the movie. I don't even the reason it was up for Best Picture was because it was the biggest movie of all time, box office wise.
Right.
There is no way that movie makes it to even the Oscars other than visual effects if it doesn't do those.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you've
cool.
got Giovanni Ribisi as your bad guy, it's kind of. Like he's not your. I mean, I guess he wasn't the ultimate villain, but
yeah,
he really is your bad guy in that movie.
The humans were the ultimate villains.
Yeah, right.
The war machine.
Yeah. So and it did exactly, like I said, what I thought it would do. It looked amazing. My cat is down here. Oh no, I'm gonna die. I'll just go to you more because now my cat. I'm like,
I know the cat's throwing you off. Maybe it's an Avatar creature. No, I'm with Eric on this one. It's just kind of weird. So we knew they were going to do more, right? When you have a movie that does that much money, there's no way you don't make a sequel, right? It's just fiscally irresponsible to not do a sequel. But the problem is it just took too long. Like, I mean, it's not like you're going out kids are buying Avatar toys, hoping for the next one. And the first one did so well because it was, like we said, it was a cultural phenomenon because it was, hey, check out this new 3D technology. It's not the red and blue glasses. It's an immersive world. The whole thing is digital. We use special motion capture, mix live action with it. So everybody's like, yeah, I need to see it. Now that's like, well, yeah, every movie does that. So it's
right.
And I can't even remember the last time I saw a 3D movie in theater. Maybe Toy Story 3, I think. Maybe. Even then, I don't know if I saw that in 3D.
I can't think of it. It's been five or so years.
Yeah, that technology definitely went away as far as the demand for it. And that was one of the big drives for that first one. So I don't know. Like, I'm not hooked. I don't know much about it. I mean, it did definitely draw me in if, Dominic Toretto pulls up in a Charger or something.
That would be so like, I'm not a fan of Fast and Furious, but I'll be like, I gotta see how this next.
He's got a banshee shaped like a Charger.
Yeah, this is actually. It turns out the Avatar planet is actually the origin of the Toretto family line, where they come from. Then I'm hooked.
That's how they have their superpowers.
That's how they have their superpowers. But we'll see. I mean, there's some interesting stuff from a scene from the trailer. It looks like one of the Avatar alien creatures has like the same tattoos and stuff as that one general guy that I assume died in the first one. So there's talks of maybe this somehow the humans have figured out even better technology how to integrate us and possibly bring in people that have passed away. So there could be some interesting things, but honestly,
like hybrids or something.
I don't know if I'll see it in theater.
I think Eric's point, like now after hearing Eric's point, I have a different perspective on this, and I want to go back and watch the trailer now because of it. But it looks like a Venn diagram of like it's a real movie and it's a animated movie, and it's like a blend of that.
Overlap a little.
Yeah, like it looks like it could take place in the Toy Story universe, but in amazing effects.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
I mean, I will tell you that this doesn't really have anything to do with the movie, but last year when we went to Disney, we went to Animal Kingdom, and they have this Avatar ride. And I think I talked about it before on the show. It is amazing. Like, it is amazing. And
the ride or the world?
The ride and the world. So
you're like flying around, right?
You are. You're riding on like this motorcycle. You basically sit down on like this motorcycle seat type situation is how it kind of goes in. They strap you into this, and then you have these 3D glasses on, and then you ride up and down. They have this thing that makes you kind of move around just a little bit, and then they bring this gigantic projection screen up, and it is amazing. Like, it is absolutely amazing that you can feel, because you're riding on one of those Banshee things that you can see in the pictures there, and you can feel the Banshee breathing.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Feel it. Yeah, you could feel it breathing, and then there's a couple scenes where you like fly over water, and they have like this little mist that kind of goes over. So it is completely immersive, and it is incredible. And the world that they've built, the Pandora that they built, is. And so when you're flying through it and you're part of it, it's like, okay, like this that's happening to me right now, I care about this. I like I want more of this. So if James Cameron can recapture that, with this movie, then for sure. And I think that's probably what he's going to be able to do, because it's James Cameron, but we'll see. But James, the world he built with Pandora, and people's experience inside of it, I don't think anybody in Hollywood really saw the vision that James has for 3D, and so they did just post-production 3D work with everything. Like, they never filmed in 3D, they never did any of that stuff in 3D, and so James still is the one going like, you guys are you don't see it, like, you don't see what I'm trying to do. And so hopefully, if hopefully I'm right on this, that James really has a better vision for what 3D can do. It's whether or not
better vision for everything.
Yeah, it really
he does.
And I have no doubt it'll be visually stunning, and everything about that aspect's going to be good. It's just my level for it is I just don't care if it came out 2-3 years later.
I think we're all in the same boat.
I agree.
Yeah.
We had fun with our first experience in the movie. I don't need to have that experience again. Like, it's not going to come back. So we're looking forward to seeing what James Cameron can do with it, but I can wait to see it.
And I hope that the story is what's really going to keep you around. Like, I don't care about Jake Sully. I don't.
Right. Yeah, they didn't have Sam Worthington in that trailer at all, or very little.
It wasn't one of the avatars.
He probably was, but
because he is one now, right?
He's the voiceover. I mean, that's what you get, the voice. It's him talking.
Was that his voice?
That's him. That's
he
him.
Sounded so different to me.
Yeah, that's him, and that's him, and Zoe Saldana.
Did she talk during it?
No, not really.
The trailer was definitely more of like, "Hey, let's show off the world."
Yeah.
We've added water.
There was like 3-4 lines in the whole trailer, and I guess it was Sam Worthington. I was wondering. I was like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, it was Dom Toretto. Next on the rundown, I know Morgan's getting a Loki Boney over there. Netflix releases their trailer for their new Resident Evil series. I've never been a big Resident Evil fan, so watching this trailer, I was like, okay, this looks good. Morgan?
Yeah.
That's my take on it. That's all I've got on it.
I like it. No, it does look good. I'll say it's definitely going to loosely follow any video game stuff. Sure. But I'm okay with that, because they're admitting that up front, instead of doing the classic, we're making a Resident Evil show, check it out. And it's like, well, this is, okay, it's zombies. It should have just been a zombie thing. Right. So I'm okay with that. I know we're following Wesker's kids. It looks like they're moving. So Wesker's a big antagonist of the whole series. He pops up in almost all the video games. and he works for the corporation, and he's the classic, double
Evil
agent.
corporate guy?
Yeah, working with the good guys. He's a military guy, but he's really working for the bad guys, doing his thing. But we follow his kids. It looks like we're going to a new Raccoon City. Everything's going to get unleashed, and then we're time jumping.
Sorry, real quick, because this is the rundown. We want to give the rundown.
Yeah.
What do you mean by a new Raccoon City?
So when I say new Raccoon City, I don't mean like we had Raccoon City and now here's Raccoon City 2. They're calling it New Raccoon City, and it looks like it's almost like a big facility built by the Umbrella Corporation, the evil corporation, where it's like a town for all the employees and whoever else.
So it's like a Gotham City in a different Batman movie.
Yeah.
Like everybody has their own vision of what Gotham looks like.
Exactly. This is this vision of Raccoon City. Virus gets out, of course, and then we're time jumping 14 years, following the kids again, but they're grown-ups and they're one of the last few million people on the planet, and we're dealing with zombies. So I'm okay with that. I know it'll tie some things in, which is good, but the trailer looked genuinely kind of creepy, and it looks like it might have some good action and some cool visuals that I'm looking forward to. And I just hope it's good. I hope we do some justice for a Resident Evil name. They just haven't. The last movie they did was
the one in December.
Yeah, I paid like $20 to watch it, and I'm upset. It was the closest they came to being authentic to the games, but it just wasn't a good movie. So I have some high hopes for this.
I can tell you didn't like it because you never talked about it.
Yeah. I just watched
came back
it.
Here and was like, man, you guys gotta watch it.
Moved on. It just wasn't done well. It was very.
Did you say Carson to that one?
No. I'm getting better. I think I'm gonna start watching everything first before I take them.
You practiced enough, okay?
Yeah.
You're getting better.
I mean, at this point, he's a man now after the horrible things I've taken him to go see, apparently.
Yeah. Eric, is this something that you feel like you want to get into?
Yep.
Yeah,
but you're a zombie guy.
I've never been into Resident.
We're not tied to Resident Evil. Like that's the thing.
Yep.
It's just another zombie thing for me. And if I get into it, it's not because it's a Resident Evil series. It's because it's a good series, I think.
Like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know that Eric will have some very big interest in the next thing on the rundown. Jack Ryan's series, it's announced, will end after its 4th season, which is very Lost-esque, that they're giving us an end point halfway through the series. Secondly, we haven't even seen shit from the 3rd season, so give me that like yesterday. I cannot wait for that. I don't know what. I guess he's a little busy with certain things these days.
Right.
But interesting. Interesting to note that also it could end. It will end after the 4th season, and then there could be a big Amazon Prime movie with the characters from all of their shows. So John Krasinski's Jack Ryan, Michael B. Jordan's help me out with the name there.
John Clark,
and it's even rumored that Chris Pratt. So we've even talked about this, how awesome this would be. Chris Pratt's guy from the Terminal List.
Oh yeah,
they could all team up for. They would probably do a Rainbow Six movie, which I don't know how accurate that is to the Rainbow Six universe.
But
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. Like, give me that. That would be amazing. So, Eric, what do you think about this news?
So I'm okay with the drop dead on a series. I really am. I think that helps you. I think that helps give you clarity and helps you wrap up a story more effectively. So you're like, okay, I've got a deadline I've got to meet to tell a story, and so you can tell a much larger arc, or at least a more concise arc, and really kind of cut out the stuff that's not really going to matter and just focus on the stuff that's going to matter. So, so I'm okay with 4 seasons of Jack Ryan, and 4 seasons is a good amount of episodes. So, I'm excited to see whatever that's going to look like. I'm anticipating that they'll continue, blowing it out of the water, because the first 2 seasons were really, really good. And so, that this only kind of, I think, will help them, because as far as like the writing and stuff like that is concerned, I think it'll probably help, quite a bit. So, so that's kind of where I'm at there. The other news that you're talking about,
there's a rumor,
Yeah, like I can totally see, and would be really excited for a Rainbow Six movie. If they did do a Rainbow Six movie, I would love that. That is, it is a fantastic story, and and to be able to see more of John Clark, give me more of that, because that's freaking awesome. And that story itself is a really cool story. So it involves lots of different nations and a pretty sinister plot to, especially after the pandemic, to kill a lot of people through a virus, and all that stuff. So so I think it'd be pretty cool. So I'm excited for it. Hopefully we'll get some stuff soon, but
okay.
No thoughts.
No,
I haven't watched.
You
haven't watched
Jack Ryan?
No.
Now, did you watch any Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan stuff at all?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
not even Hunt for Red October.
I watched Hunt for Red October, but
give me a ping.
Patriot games.
Long time. I played
Patriot
video
games. Patriot games.
No. I've slacked on the
Clear and Present Danger.
None of that stuff.
Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I watched it when I was like 12.
Sum of All Fears with Batfleck. We're kicking you off.
And
I'm sorry, I'm slacking.
And the John Clark in that one is
Liev Schreiber.
And he is awesome.
Awesome,
as the John Clark in that one. he's really,
I mean,
really
I want to
really
watch it because you guys talk about it and you haven't steered me wrong yet. I just
I think it's an
I know
underrated
Deanna will
movie.
watch it.
Sum of All Fears. I think it's an underrated movie.
It is an underrated movie. Yeah,
freaking nuke goes off in that movie.
Yeah.
Stakes are pretty high.
That does sound.
Yeah.
Go watch Jack Ryan. That should be your next series there, Morgan. It's really good. It's John Krasinski. How are you going to interview John Krasinski and you haven't watched his TV show yet?
Don't worry.
We're going to talk John Krasinski later on. We're going to talk a lot of John.
Hammer out that show.
If I were you, I would watch the series first.
Yeah.
I would watch the series first. I would not start with the movies.
Okay.
Right.
I would, because it's a different Jack Ryan. It's a different Jack Ryan.
I will say though, I am a fan of just the industry in general. I hope they do this. Announce how long a show is going to be up front, or at least close to up front.
Right.
I think that's the way to do it. Any show that announces, we're doing 4 seasons. So you're going to get a complete story that they don't have to rush an ending to. They don't have, they're building a complete story from beginning to end that's going to have an ending.
3 times this has been very prominent, like where a show has announced this. One, Lost, in the middle of season 3, which in the middle of season 3, things were kind of dragging along. And then they announced that, and it was full go from there on. Game of Thrones announced it's going to end after 8 seasons.
Yep.
Definitely did not help the show. But I don't think that was because of that announcement.
No.
It did. I think it did. And I think for the reasons I gave earlier, which is it reinvigorates the writing team, because they have an end goal in mind and they can go for it. And I think I would argue that when they made the decision to get Game of Thrones to end after 8 seasons, everything up until that last season was really, really great. Because now they're starting to put the pieces in place, and so you can watch these things and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, okay, that's cool. They're setting all this stuff up. What didn't deliver was the execution on that final season, because that was kind of dragging as well. I felt like the series was kind of dragging a little bit, and it was not as good as it was. But when they made that announcement, I think the seasons got better, and you could see they were moving towards an end goal, and it got more exciting, and you could just the building of the tension towards that end goal. And the same thing, with Lost, like the writing got a lot more concise, and you could feel it was leading to the end. And
I'll say this about Game of Thrones, and I agree with your point to a certain extent.
Be careful, we don't want to go on a Game of Thrones tangent.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I will go on.
We could do it for hours.
The thing about Game of Thrones is it may have been lagging because it was adapting slower books.
Yeah.
And then they got out of the books, and they had 2 good seasons.
Yeah.
Not like perfect seasons. There was some slowness in the middle of season 6, but some of the best episodes in the whole show was in season 6.
Right.
Season 7 had some of the best action, but it was also the first shortened season, so it felt a little rushed, but some of the stuff was really great.
Yeah.
But you can feel things coming together.
Right.
And then, and so they had that clear. We had that clear. We see where we're going, and we saw it from the moment John saw the White Walker army. We're like, yes, we know where this is going. This is gonna be amazing.
Yep.
And then the writers well, they went online and saw that people guessed the ending of the show. They're like, oh, I gotta change it. Let's make it worse than that. So stick to your plan is the point there, I guess.
Yes. No, they should going in. My thought is going into the show just prepared, like, oh, we're gonna do a show that's 4 seasons. That's the way.
Right. Well, and then the third one was Stranger Things. So Stranger Things from the very beginning said this can be a 5-season show. Now the pandemic messed that up a little bit and maybe changed their plans a bit, but at least from the beginning they said this is going to be a 5-part series. So we'll see how that plays out here very, very soon at the end of this month. We got a trailer train to hop on. We got a few trailers, tackle them all at once. First was Hustle by Adam Sandler, the basketball movie we brought up a few weeks ago, I believe. Westworld season 4 returning June 26th, got a trailer. I am not caught up on that series, but I'm also not worried about spoilers. And Father of the Bride reboot, which when I saw it and I clicked on it, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. They're rebooting a Steve Martin classic that I absolutely adore and love. When I watched it, I was like, this looks well done. This looks funny. Why do they have to call it Father of the Bride?
Right.
I don't. If they called it something different, I think I would enjoy it more. But the fact that they're calling it Father of the Bride, I mean, Andy Garcia, forget about it. He looks amazing in this movie. But it just pisses me off that it's Father of the Bride. It looks very, very funny, but I just feel slighted on the on the Father of the Bride title. What do you think about the trailer train, Eric?
The Hustle was okay. I think Adam Sandler's falling into the same trap that Tom Cruise and Jim Carrey have fallen into lately. Okay. I've had a lot of success, but I want to be taken seriously, and it's like,
Tom Cruise.
Well, Tom Cruise got into this drama.
The Vanilla Sky era.
Yeah, there was a certain time period in his career where he was making these choices of movies, that are outside of what he normally does, and the Vanilla Sky stuff. So
it was Vanilla Sky, and there was one other one. I was like,
Last Samurai was good.
Well,
Last Samurai was
that
great.
Was in the night. That was not part of that era. There was it was two. It was Vanilla Sky, and there was one other. So go ahead, Eric.
I just feel like Sandler's moving out of his comfort zone, and I think he's a good dramatic actor, but I don't.
Yes.
Hollywood's never going to take him seriously for that. They've got him boxed in there. I think people will take him seriously. I think his fans will take him seriously, and they'll enjoy what he does because they're fans of his. And and like I what was the other one that he did last couple of years ago that was really good, where he had like the he was anyhow, but it was
Halloween.
No, it was, whatever that drama was that he was really intense in it. It was really good, but but again,
the Gems.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems.
Yeah, I thought he was great in that, and
he's got the chops.
He's got the chops.
He can do it.
But I just don't think Hollywood's going to take him seriously. Westworld, I am super hyped for. I loved the first 2 seasons of Westworld. The third season was a bit of a letdown. I will say that it was a little bit of a letdown. But coming off of those first 2 seasons, I can't see how you wouldn't have one. They just were that good. You've got Lisa Joy and then Christopher Nolan's brother. Jonathan Nolan, both, they're married to each other, and I mean that's just like a dynamic duo of writing. They just are incredible, and the stuff that they come out with is just really, really great. And
Jonathan's as good of a writer as his brother is a director, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of The Dark Knight we have to thank for Jonathan, because he wrote quite a bit of that. So so Westworld I'm totally jazzed about. So June cannot come fast enough for me on that one. And then Father of the Bride, yeah, all right. So I'm with you on that one. I think you say a fire ass take, like yours was like really concise, and I'm like, why would you call it Father of the Bride? Like it's right. What are we doing here? Like again, we've talked about this. Are you going to do a better job than Steve Martin? And maybe you will. Maybe you will.
No, you won't.
But it's a gamble. That is a big gamble.
That is a big gamble. And I love Andy Garcia. Number one fan of the show's. Number one fan of the show, Denise Temple. One of her favorite guys of all time was Andy Garcia. So I'm sure she's.
Cool. Oh, he's great.
He's amazing. It looks like he's doing an Italian, but he's also Cuban, or maybe
I don't know what it was.
Cuban. I mean, Gloria Estefan is his wife, so she's definitely Cuban. Anyway, real quick on Tom Cruise. 99 to 2000 was a bit of a weird time for me. We call it the long hair era.
Yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut, Magnolia, Mission Impossible 2, and Vanilla Sky.
Yeah. It's a 4-picture run where it was like,
Yeah. Then he cut his hair for Minority Report and got back into shape. So
it was back in the game.
That was. Listen, we all have a 2-year period in our lives we're not proud of. I definitely have that. So we'll let it slide.
Son.
That's right.
Morgan?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go just quick. Hustle. I mean, it looks good, but I'm not like, I need to go see it. Adam Sandler can do the dramatic stuff well. There's some stuff he's done that I think is fantastic. But Eric's right. Like, it's Adam Sandler. You expect him to, yell at the bathtub, say, "Stop looking at me, Schwan," and stuff like that. Like, that's just Adam Sandler. Okay. Westworld, I'm hyped. Same sentiments as Eric. I love Westworld. I love that show. I love the world that it's in. All of that really intrigues me. This trailer, I have no idea what the heck is going on. Especially with the little robot girl face open bee. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, why is she spewing bees? Like, I don't know. Mark Wahlberg would be happy because it's the bees. We call back there. But and then Father of the Bride. I mean, is the twist that she proposes? Is that like the big twist?
Oh yeah, that's the big
like twist. That's what changes it. Like
it's totally different. It's totally different.
Like, is that the big difference? Like I just was not sitting here going like, man, I wish they would remake Father of the Bride.
I've recently rewatched those movies too. Having two daughters, I had a father-daughter dance last night with Penny, and I told Penny, I said, one day we're gonna have a real dance on a dance floor when you get married, and that might be the happiest, saddest day of my life. So Father of the Bride is just Father of the Bride is a movie near and dear to my heart, not only because I'm a just giant Steve Martin fan, but when you have a daughter, and Eric, you can speak to it, like there's just something about thinking about that day that gets you. Yeah, we both have two of them. So it's a day I look forward to and that I dread with all of my heart.
Yep.
We have some casting news. Again, we kind of covered all at once. Forrest Gump team of Rob Zemeckis, Robin Wright, and Tom Hanks are reteaming for a graphic novel adaptation here. And I know Mark looked up some information on this and has some thoughts. So looking forward to that. Hayden Panettiere is going to reprise her Scream 4 role for Scream 6. So I guess spoiler alert for Scream 4, which I didn't see. Hayden Panettiere makes it out alive. And then Christopher Walken joins Dune Part 2. Right. It's a multiverse of something. She's a very variant. And Christopher Walken joins Dune Part 2 as Emperor Shaddam IV. So Morgan, I know you looked up some stuff on the graphic novel adaptation here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it other than what I looked up. I've never heard of it before.
Right.
So
obviously,
what it is apparently it's the story of a corner of a room and of the events that have occurred in that space over the course of hundreds of thousands of years. So that's the synopsis. It's very artistic. I'm been looking it up, looking at images. It's a very unique art style to the comic. The way I just don't know how well it's going to translate to screen. I'm interested to see what they do it. I mean, of all the teams that can do it, this is a team that I have faith in. Yeah. It's a good team up, so I think they can do it. But I just don't know what they're going to do with this and how they'll do it. It's hard to explain.
Okay. Any thoughts on Hayden Panettiere coming back from the dead? Apparently.
I mean, I watched the newest Scream. I enjoyed it until the ending. I didn't like the ending.
That's the best ending, huh?
Yeah, that was my thoughts. I would have gone a different way with the reveal, and it's a Scream movie, so you know how they do their thing. Sure. I don't even remember her character in that Scream movie. I barely remember the movie. I figured she died. I don't remember. So we'll see.
Everybody dies.
Yeah, but honestly, it's just one of those things I can care less about. And then Christopher Walken and Dune, I'm pumped for Dune Part 2. I love Christopher Walken, so why not? Let's throw him in there.
Do you think his personality fits the Dune universe?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. He's playing an emperor. He'll have to change himself up just a little bit. I think he can't be complete classic campy Walken that, he's got to change it up a little bit, but I think he'll be fine. Honestly, I don't know how big of a role this is going to be for him in the context of the movie and how much speaking he's really going to have in it. Or is he just going to be, sitting there doing the Dune background images and what they do?
I mean, you don't bring Christopher Walken on to not share his voice with the world. So you got to give him some lines. He was I feel like he was an emperor in some movie. Was that some comedy?
Yeah,
it was a comedy.
Oh, was it the ping pong movie?
It was the
Balls
ping
of
pong
Fury.
movie.
Yeah,
Balls of Fury.
So if he can bring that to Dune too, perfect. We're good.
Awesome. Great movie. Eric, what are your thoughts on some of these casting updates?
I'll start off where he left off with the Dune casting. That's that's the most exciting part for me out of this whole thing. I hope that he's not distracting in it, because his voice can be, everybody, at least for me, it's the cowbell, but I think, but I know he'll take the role seriously because he does have a really great commanding presence, and he actually plays a pretty good villain when he wants to be a villain. Like, he's done, I've seen him in a couple of things where he's played the villain and you're like, oh, okay, So I have confidence.
Don't mess with that guy.
Yeah, I have confidence that he's going to be a pretty vicious, emperor. And so I think that's going to be, and he has that presence and that air about him that, that he can command the room and stuff. So I think that is what I'm the most excited for is that casting call there. I haven't watched Scream 4, so I don't know. I got nothing there. I have no idea what Here is about. But with Zemeckis and Robin Wright and Tom Hanks, I'm interested. We've talked about it before. Just write them a check. Write them the check to make whatever it is they're going to make, because it's probably going to be really good. So
stop standing in their way.
Yeah, exactly. So describe for me again, Morg, what.
Yeah. So it's. Let me pull that back.
Here, I have a byline right here. It says, a breathtaking and revolutionary odyssey through time and memory. The innovative story is centered around a place in New England where, from wilderness and then later a home, love, loss, struggle, hope, and legacy play out between couples and families over generations.
Yeah. And the way the graphic novel portrays it is, it's always the same spot. It's like, always the same room, because it's about a room. But they show... Yeah, here.
But what about then?
Yeah, they show images. They show images.
When is
different things
when is now?
In it.
When is now?
You're looking at now.
Right.
You're looking at now.
Exactly. Now.
What about then?
Computer.
It's too late. Why?
Too late.
We missed it. When? Just now. Because this is now.
Yeah, it's very.
When will then
very
be
strange. Now?
Soon.
I don't think Morgan's getting it.
I'm enjoying it.
Spaceballs?
Spaceballs. It's one of the best.
I haven't seen that.
So that's actually super cool. So there's another podcast that I absolutely love that I listen to all the time. Called Mysterious Universe, and they have talked about a very similar thing, that certain locations have memory. And so that's where you get like ghosts, and you get like certain locations have memory of what events have transpired there, and so and so that's actually that's actually really, really cool to like see like one spot in all the events that have taken place at that one location, over time. That's actually really kind of cool. So
you know what else has memory? Water has memory.
Water has memory.
Yep.
Water has memory. Thanks, Olaf.
Thanks, Olaf.
Thanks, Olaf. Yeah.
Next on the rundown, we have a bit of sad news as classic actor, classic character
actor. Yeah.
Yeah. Fred Ward has passed away this past week at the age of 79. You may know him from certain movies like Tremors 1, Tremors 2, Joe Dirt. He was in
Joe Dirt.
What's the blues show? I just had it in my head. Now I don't remember.
Miami Blues,
where he played a serious character. So he was one of those actors that could play any role you put him in, serious or cheese or corny, whatever. And he just stole the scene when he was in those movies. Tremors 1 and 2, he's freaking fantastic. We salute you at the Nerd Rundown, Fred Ward.
Yep.
You guys have a favorite Fred Ward performance? Eric?
I have a couple, actually. So the first time I ever saw him, I think, was in The Right Stuff with with like Dennis Quaid and all those guys that did Ed Harris. They did the Mercury. They were the Mercury 7 astronauts. About how the U.S. space program went and got started. And he played this guy Gus Grissom, who was actually sadly killed in a rocket accident. Him and Roger Chaffee, and I think Chris. Gosh, what was the third guy? I can't think of his name right now. But anyhow, they were killed. I think in Apollo 1. I think they were killed in an accident. But he played Gus Grissom. And he was so great. He was so great in that. And then also, he did a movie called Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins, which is, for anybody who's actually seen the movie, it's a fun movie. It really is. And it bombed in the theater, and they never decided to do a sequel, which is a tragedy because it would have been fun. And I think it really would have launched Fred from being, because I think they were kind of thinking that he could be a big star in Hollywood, and then when it didn't go anywhere, it kind of pushed him to the side of being, kind of a character actor, playing a supporting actor to other people. My third and final one that I'll talk about is The Naked Gun 33 1/3. He played Rocco,
That's
so
my favorite.
Yeah, he played the terrorist guy, the bad guy in that one, and I just love Leslie Nielsen, and he did such a good job playing opposite of Leslie Nielsen. And
I love parody movies, and he's so good in that. He's so funny. Mark, you got a favorite Fred Ward?
Earl Bass. I mean, of course, Tremors. That's where I first was introduced to him. And I mean, he's fantastic in that role. Him and Kevin Bacon were a great pair. They worked off each other very well. And that's whenever I hear his name, that's what pops in my head. Tremors.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will say that the picture I have of Fred Ward in my mind is him with a mullet as Joe Dirt's dad.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
But that's
Mr. Geartag.
Yeah. But that's the range. I mean, that's the range, and the talent that Fred Ward had was he could do all that, and he was great. Yeah. So.
Absolutely.
Prayers to his family,
absolutely. Yeah. And again, we salute you, Fred Ward. Last on the rundown, we have birthdays. Two of the biggest directors or creators of all time, and good friends, honestly. First, man, we've already talked about on the podcast today. Bob Zemeckis, or Robert Zemeckis, whatever you want to call him. Thank you.
Oh, Robbie.
Thank you, Mr. Zemeckis, for everything that you've brought us, to include Forrest Gump as the director of that movie. But when you start looking at his resume, my God, it's just banger after banger. To include
Mr. Marty,
my favorite movie, my perfect movie of all time.
Yes.
Back to the Future.
Yes.
And that trilogy. So
it's your kids, Marty. Something's got to be done about your kids.
Do they become assholes or something? I could quote Back to the Future all day long, but Bob Zemeckis go and take a look at his resume, and you're going to see how much he actually has had his hand in Hollywood.
Oh yeah,
more so than just Gump.
The executive producer of The Frighteners. And love that movie.
Back to the Future. Yeah, I mean he's not only directed some great stuff, he's produced some great stuff. Then a man we all have, so much love for and so much angst for at the same time.
You may have heard of this guy.
May have heard of him. One of the greatest creators of all time, Mr. George Lucas. Happy birthday. You are, how old was he? He was, where'd it go?
Born in 44, so what is that?
I don't know. I'm just going to let the internet tell me. I had it right here, and then I looked up Tom Cruise's resume. Anyway, George Lucas, he is 78 today, and Robert Zemeckis is 79. 71. So, I mean, listen, George Lucas, he's one of those guys where it's like, yeah, that's all you have to say. It's George Lucas. And then people have emotional reactions to it one way or the other. And I will never not love George Lucas. He brought stuff into this world that has forever changed my life to like the nth degree. And I just could never hate him. And I respect him. And you know what? I'll just leave it at that. So happy birthday.
We wouldn't have the Star Wars holiday special without him.
Oh man.
And some Wookiees for 15 minutes.
You know, not just
Star Wars.
Not just Star Wars. You know, we get more than just that. We have
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, and you don't get John Williams, and to me that's the biggest thing. Like, well, I shouldn't say you don't get, but you know, I don't know the. I
think it's debatable with Spielberg, but because he did Jaws.
He did
Jaws before Star Wars.
And that's what he did, Jaws, and Spielberg and Lucas were talking, and Lucas goes, I need a composer for Star Wars. Oh, you should use Johnny. Use Johnny, he's amazing. And he does. And the Star Wars theme is born, and
music has changed forever.
And the music has changed forever. So
movie music.
Yeah. And you get I think you know, my dad has made the point to me in the past, and I didn't quite know what he was saying, you know, because I didn't live during that time period. But Indiana Jones, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, my dad has told me multiple times, he said it changed the game for movies, because prior to that, the action movie was not really like that. You know, you didn't really have the action movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark was like the first action movie that came out where you had an action hero, and it was like, holy smokes, this is incredible. You know, just the stunts, all the different stuff. It really changed the game for you know, movies kind of moving forward. So George he's been an incredible guy for us. I think the part that we run into is the controversy is our expectations for what you know, what we expect from things and what gets delivered or doesn't meet up. But yeah. He was brilliant. He was brilliant with the toy move. Like that was the most brilliant move ever. And we would not have gotten more of that stuff if we hadn't. He also did Willow. Willow was a great movie. Willow. That was a lot of fun. And he's had his hand in
Phineas and Ferb he worked on. I love that cartoon.
He's had his hand in a lot of different stuff and everything. So
if you ever want to have a lot of respect for George Lucas, watch the behind the scenes video for The Phantom Menace and the amount of work that went into that movie.
Yeah.
They made like 1,000 Queen Amidala costumes. Like you just have a lot of respect for that man and all they went through to get that franchise back up off the ground. And Indiana Jones was the first like everyday man kind of guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Even before John McClane, like a different kind of action hero there. But Indiana Jones is just like he's a professor, you know?
Right.
Indiana Jones has one of my top 10 scenes of all time when that guy comes up with the sword and he's doing the moves. Like, you know, like you're expecting the big fight. What are they going to do? And he's just like, boom, and shoots. It's beautiful. It's fantastic.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It sums up the never bring a sword to a gunfight.
A knife to a gunfight. Yeah.
A knife to a gunfight. Yeah. It's great. It really is. And Lucas and Zemeckis we're all very blessed to have those guys in this world. So happy birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday to those dudes.
Keep going.
Thank you for everything that you've given to us. We're all better. We're all better for it.
We are all better for it, for sure. All right, NRDbox time. We've got a question that's going to lead us into our present show. Our present show today, we are reviewing the Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. That is very spoilery. We're not going to get into spoilers too much in this question, but it is hard not to. And actually listen to this question and then go straight into the presents, or go straight and watch Doctor Strange and then come back and listen to the presents, because it's going to be very spoilery. But this one, it's all about, there's a mid-credit spoiler, and it doesn't spoil anything for the movie of Doctor Strange.
Right.
But it does set it, these mid-credit scenes, when they're at their best, they set up something else. And Doctor Strange comes out of the Sanctum Sanctorum and is walking down the street, and Charlize Theron, one of the most beautiful women of all time, pops up in a very, very interesting costume, and says, "Dr. Strange, we have you created an incursion," which we'll get into. I'll get into incursions in prisons. Rips open a hole in the universe to show the dark dimension, and she says, "You've created an incursion. We need to go fix it." She's playing Clea, who in the comics is the niece of Dormammu, which is, I don't know if that's the canon that they'll go with in the MCU, considering that Dormammu looks like a big purple poop thing in the first Doctor Strange. So I don't know how she'd be his niece, but she's a very, very powerful sorcerer. She actually becomes Sorcerer Supreme at one point in the comics. She marries Doctor Strange in the comics, so they love interest, and becomes the antagonist of his stories multiple times. So she's a very big Doctor Strange character. Honestly, surprised it's taken this long for her to be introduced into not only MCU but definitely Doctor Strange movies. So she's a big character in the Doctor Strange universe. Like,
I don't
know how you're debating. I don't know how you're debating that, Morgan.
No,
how many times does your ex-wife become your villain?
The surprise of her.
How many times have you heard that story?
I'm surprised they're introducing her already. Is my surprise.
Really?
We had one Doctor Strange movie.
We've had two.
Well, okay, yeah. You know what I mean. We had one before this.
If you think about like take Captain America for example, a lot of characters in the Captain America universe. The Winter Soldier was not one of his big villains until the mid 2000s. That's 40 years of Captain America comics of him battling Red Skull and Baron von Strucker, and why am I forgetting purple guy's face? Purple face guy.
Oh, Zemo.
Baron Zemo. Yeah,
Baron Zemo. Yeah.
Baron Zemo. I mean, he had tons of villains. But the second movie, we get the Winter Soldier. Now I get what it is. Perfect setup. Clea is a much bigger character to Doctor Strange in the history of Doctor Strange than Winter Soldier is to Cap. Now, I
did we even say Megan's question?
We did not.
Well, she did.
She wasn't know who that is.
So I started answering her that question. She says, "Who is Charlize Theron playing in Doctor Strange?" So
I thought she was Ivan.
Charlize Theron is playing Clea. What's that?
I thought she was Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers in that outfit. I remember that
movie. It was a terrible outfit.
She moves the multiverse story forward, and that's really that's what she's there for. So she's there to expand on the incursion stuff, which is what's going to push further
the MCU.
She's there for that, and she's there to replace Doctor Strange.
I don't know.
Because she does.
We'll see about them.
We'll talk about that.
She does in the comics.
Presents.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. She becomes
I got more thoughts.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't. It's not. why I think this is good for the rundown, it doesn't necessarily affect anything that goes on in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Nah.
So we're going to go into the presents and we're going to review that movie now that we've all seen it here. Fortunately, Bill is not going to be able to get on the review today and defend his new lady, Scarlet Witch. But Bill, we appreciate you sending in your thoughts, and we know you will defend Scarlet Witch to your death. So, with that being said, I love the rundown today. I'm very excited for some stuff, not so excited for some other stuff, but very glad to finally get a good first look at Avatar 2.
Yep.
Jack Ryan, I'm so excited for season 3, and hopefully that ends on a good note in season 4.
Westworld.
Maybe get into a little something about that in the presents as well. So with that being said, see you guys next week on the Nerd Rundown.
See ya. Bye.
Deuces.